Hi, I am Guernsey Honore, writer and columnist with Authority Magazine. And today I have the pleasure of welcoming the amazing filmmaker, writer, actress. She does it all by the name of Andrea. Andrea, would you please introduce yourself to our audience?
Yes. Hi, everybody. My name is Andrea Ward, award-winning film director, producer, writer, creator, actress, stunt woman, and intimacy coordinator now. I am originally from Baltimore, Maryland, and I am CEO and owner of Redemption Images, the voice for the voiceless where untold stories are told.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It is a pleasure to have you here today. Our readers would love to get to know you a bit better. Can you tell us a bit of the backstory of how you grew up?
Yes, so originally I'm from Baltimore, Maryland, home of the Blue Crabs or home of the Wire, if you guys watch the show. Um, I grew up with my twin brother Andre. I am a twin. Actually, we're Gemini twins. And I was raised by a single mother, my mom, Maria, who is absolutely amazing. In Baltimore, our upbringing was pretty rough because Baltimore was still very segregated at the time. And the neighborhood we grew up in was very prejudiced. They were not welcoming to people of color. We were actually the first people of color to move in a Pacific neighborhood that was never welcome to people of color. Um, I grew up as the awkward, weird girl or the girl that just did not fit in with any of the crowds. And it was mostly due to the color of my skin. You know, I'm still a woman of color, but I'm still on the fair end as far as complexion. And a lot of the other kids weren't very kind to me. So I didn't grow up with friends. It was just me and my twin brother. And I grew up watching a lot of movies, writing short films and short stories, and lots of horror films with my Auntie Reina and my brother, which I was inspired by Stephen King and Steven Spielberg. And that's when I knew I wanted to be a writer and a filmmaker. And I pretty much did everything creatively. I could engineer beat, produce music, I could write, sing, I could freestyle, rhyme, do poetry, paint, design, draw. Everything you can think of that as far as the creatives, I could do that because growing up, I just didn't have a normal childhood and I had to make it normal in some shape or form. And I was pretty much far beyond my years as far as talents and intellect. So I was super smart in school, but I just wasn't that popular.
Wow, that's very impressive. You really can do it all. That's impressive. You ought to be proud of yourself. I'm probably sure you are. It's very, very impressive. Can you tell us a story of what brought you to like the specific career path, just besides your passion and just you growing up and doing it? Is there like a time when you're like, oh my God, I need to do this as a career?
Yes. So what led me to this career path was when I was about, I say, in my early 20s. I had just finished college, I just graduated my degree. I had my first encounter of domestic violence. I didn't know what domestic violence was initially. I mean, I knew what it was, but I didn't think it would ever happen to me because I'm a good person. I go to church, I pray every day, I do right by others, but it could happen to anybody, you know? And that's when I decided, like, at that point in my life, I hit rock bottom and emotionally, mentally, spiritually, I was torn. And so I found another way to heal, which was through art. I started sketching, designing, and somehow I ended up in Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week as a first-time designer. Never sold any clothes before a day in my life, didn't go to school for it. And I was walking down the runway of LA Fashion Week with a whole collection, sold out show, sold out seats. It was just phenomenal. And then I went on like an international tour, LA, New York. I got invited to Beijing, Dubai, Tokyo, Paris, London, and Milan as well as one of the youngest designers to showcase. And then on, that didn't stop me from there. I started to really dig deeper into myself to find out and discover the things that made me honestly happy in my way of just healing, especially going through something so traumatic and surviving something of that experience. Because not everyone lives to tell a story after they've survived domestic violence or DV. And a lot of people have emotional scars and or if not both physical and emotional scars. I got really lucky and I was very thankful, and I saw it as a second chance at life.
Mhm.
So, next thing, I ended up on the Steve Harvey show. I don't know how I ended up there. I really don't. Yeah, I can't really recall. But next thing you know, I was in a Netflix project acting, and then from acting, I ended up in another movie, and it's on Amazon right now. And then from there, I fell in love with the art of just creating and telling stories. If I could be a beacon of hope to others and share the stories of the untold, the ones we often don't hear about, the ones that get swept under the rug, maybe I could make a difference. So I started writing more and more, and I started my own production company. Redemption Images, the voice for the voiceless is what they call me. And I've been on that journey ever since, directing, producing, casting,
Mhm.
location scouting, editing. I do it all. And I am self-taught, and that's what led me to this journey is to be a beacon of hope and to make a difference for other people. And that's what truly inspires me and motivates me because I didn't realize this, but I have so many people, so many young girls and men and women that do look up to me ever since I started this journey, and they've been following me ever since 2015. And I'm here today.
Wow. I am sorry that you had to go through that. I have people that are very close to me, close family members who have gone through domestic violence. It's a real thing. And like you said, it can leave lasting scars, emotionally, mentally, physically, you name it. So I'm really sorry, but a way to how they say um, make the best out of your circumstances. You literally did that. Like, you literally did that. You were just like, okay, on to the next one. So it's good that you can use your experience to help other people. I remember like one thing that somebody told me back when I used to be like, I still like go to church and stuff, but there was a time when I practically lived in church. I was like really involved in everything. I was on every group, everything. And then I remember one time somebody told me I was going through something. I forgot what it was at the time, but he said, you go through stuff for other people. And I'm like, okay, that makes no sense. Why should I be going through stuff for other people who are living their lives and not even knowing if I exist? And he literally said, you go through something, and then when you come out of it, you help somebody else. So your pain is like somebody else's purpose. And, it's like a whole thing. So you really did that. Thank you so much. A lot of people could really benefit from that. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to share that. Um, the more I can share the story or motivate others or spread awareness, the more I'm making a difference in the world. The world for the next generation, the world for my daughter, for when she grows up, and my nieces, nephews, for everybody, All if we had more people doing this in the world, it would be a better place.
Yes, I love it. Whew. I love it. I love it. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for being vulnerable. Can you share like the funniest or most interesting story that occurred to you in the course of your filmmaking career?
Ah, man, I'm not sure where to start. I have so many stories, so
Mhm.
many. Okay, so this was random. This was during my career. I was on vacation, but also work. And I got chased by a naked woman in Vegas down the hallway. I was just trying to help her get to her room, and she wanted to thank me, and I ran. I ran. I ran and threw myself in the elevator. I'll never forget it. It felt like a hangover moment, but I wasn't drinking. I was sober.
What you mean she was like completely naked, just like roaming the
Chasing me down
hallway?
the hallway. Yes, true story. And security actually caught it on camera.
No.
Yes.
Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Do you know why she was chasing you?
No, I wasn't trying to find out. I was not
Oh
trying
my
to
God.
find out at all.
I would have ran too.
Oh yeah, it
Oh
was
my God.
interesting.
Some things are better left unsaid, right?
Yeah,
Oh
definitely.
my God, that's hilarious. Okay. Oh man. Who are some of the most interesting people you have interacted with? And what was that like? Would you like to share any stories about that?
Let's see. I definitely met B2K. I grew up listening to their music, and I had a crush on everybody, but when you work with people, it's just like, wow, they're just like us in real life. It was very interesting working with them. I've met Eric Nelson on Yellowstone. I met one of the actors of the original Peter Pan movie. He was like a child star kid, and he's pretty awesome too. I've met Michael B. Jordan. Actually, I probably would have been his future wife. Probably. I was at Jamie Foxx's house, and he has like this club in the back of his house. This was BET Award weekend.
Mhm.
And I tried to be slick. I tried to accidentally, coincidentally fall into his arms,
Uh-huh.
and it didn't work. His security guard caught me, and I was so upset because he didn't catch me,
Mhm.
Yeah, he didn't catch me. And I was like, why'd you do that? He was like, oh, you gotta go. No, I was here first.
Mhm.
I was here first. He stepped on my shoe. You should have
Mhm.
just let me fall into his arms. I would have been
Mhm.
his future wife right now.
Oh
So
my God.
it was interesting. I met him. I met J Lo. She was pretty kind. Uh, Remy Ma, Fat Joe, Yandy from Love and Hip Hop. Michael J. White. He's
Mhm.
interesting. He's very interesting. He's big in person. Like photos and videos, movies don't do any justice. Because
Mhm.
when I met him, he wanted a hug, and I was like just a little intimidated because he's just like that, just really muscular and just yeah, no. I've seen him fight. No.
Yeah. Is it like life of the party type person?
He's more chilled. He's more like laid back, I would say. Now, who was the life of the party? Oh, Michelet. I met Michelet. And this was backstage of like an R&B concert. All I said was hey. And next thing you know, I was going through all the fitting rooms meeting everybody that was performing. And she's just introducing me to everybody. She was super sweet, super kind. She was definitely the life of the party.
Mhm.
I would say the Jackson family kids. I also ended up at the Michael Jackson family house. That
Okay.
was pretty interesting too. It was fun. Who else did I meet? Tyrese. I think I
How
went
was
to.
he?
He's interesting. Not
Mhm.
in a bad way. He's just very interesting. Uh, let's see. Director X. I think I first met him when I first moved to LA.
Mhm.
Was it Stephen King that I met or Steven Spielberg? It was one of them that I met, which
Mhm.
I grew up on, and they were super intriguing, very interesting. The conversations felt like a horror movie. I was a little like, you know what? I'm gonna go outside and get some air. You know,
Mhm.
it
Mhm.
was very like movie like.
Yeah.
Or just being on stuck on an elevator with Sylvester Stallone. That was, because he sounds like Adrian, yeah, and I kind of froze. I had a fan moment.
Mhm.
I had a fan. He was super sweet, super kind. I could not look him in his face. I looked at everything else but him, the floor, the napkin, the gum in the elevator, just everything but him, because I didn't want to seem like I'm a fan, but I don't want to seem like a total fan. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Except for Michael B. Jordan, where you literally want to fall, you know? We get it.
Oh, oh yeah, I had to try to fall into his arms. Catch me. He
Oh
didn't
God,
catch
that's
me.
so funny.
I was this close. That close.
Hmm. Hmm. Well, you know what they say.
Third time is a charm, but it's okay.
But
I
I
just
think that your second one would be your charm. You don't need a third time.
oh no, if anything, I would want him in one of my movies. I think that's more beneficial and lucrative,
Yeah,
as far as on the business end of things.
yes, yes. We'll tag him in this video.
Oh gosh, please don't. He might remember me. He might. I don't. He might because I did wear like the most standoutish outfit that night, and it was literally made of gold and hand stitched with diamonds.
You
Yeah.
were ready. I will tag him in this video. Oh man. Anyway, no, thank you for sharing. Thank you. So none of us are able to achieve success without some help along the way. Is there a particular person you are most grateful towards, you feel like helped you to get you where you are? Do you have a story about it?
uh Man, the list is pretty long, so I'm gonna try to like shorten it as much as I can. Definitely my friends and family. They've been supportive of me since day one, and the strangers that are now my closest friends. For instance, my closest friend, if not sister from another Mister and mom, her name is Barbara Sanchez. She does PR for Snoop Dogg and everybody. She was one of the first people to really help me out when I was in my darkest of moments, entering the this element of the industry as well. And she gave me guidance. She helped me book gigs. She helped me with networking, just kind of getting out of my comfort zone, especially someone new entering into the industry like years ago. I've learned a lot from her. She's been a great mentor. Another friend of mine, Janisha Adams, she's one of the top stunt women in the industry, and she's taught me how to stand up for myself and be brave and not care what anyone else thinks and kind of just go for what I want and not wait around for it. Another person is Carrie Burnans. She's amazing. She taught me the same thing, but she's super sweet, kind, and humble, and so bubbly. And she teaches me to not be so jaded, especially if you've been hurt so much, especially from like people in the industry and trying to network or make a difference, and people take advantage of that. Uh, Darn, it's such a long list, Jermaine. He always tells me to be very strategic about what I do with my intentions, especially when it comes to my work or projects. Man, this list is really long. My daughter, because I can't list everybody, but my daughter, she motivates me in every way possible. She's my inspiration behind everything. And my life partner, Mark, he inspires me in other ways that I didn't think was possible, especially with creativity and being as open and honest with my ideas and along with myself to just keep going. Even though times may get tough, we always have a tough moment in life, especially as creatives, or we get a little burnt out, just to take care of ourselves and be kind and nurturing to ourselves because no one else will. And if you won't, why should anyone else do it?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
All right, so, can you share with us your favorite life lesson quote? And can you tell us how it's relevant to your life?
Yes. So after a storm, there will always be light. After a storm, there will always be endless opportunities after the storm because storms are only temporarily. And it also depends on what you do after the storm is what dictates your life and your future and your journey moving forward. I've lived and gone by that quote, which has helped me go from being a DV victim and survivor and homeless to now award-winning film director, producer, and an amazing mom and an entrepreneur and a business owner, all within a span of 9 years. So in 9 years, I've accomplished so much that most people haven't been able to do it in a lifetime.
Amen. That's great.
Thank you.
All right. So I am very interested in diversity in the entertainment industry. So can you share with us three reasons why you think it's important to have diversity represented in film and television, and how can that potentially affect our culture?
Yes. So diversity is very important to have in all aspects when it comes to TV and film. Actually, all industries as well too, because most industries are was created by men, has always been dominated by men, male dominating industries, where so either women weren't treated fairly, they weren't paid fairly, and they weren't given fair opportunities such as a man would get because they're a woman. And especially it's hard if you're a woman, but if you're also a woman and a woman of color, it's 10 times harder because for one, you're not going to be respected right away. You have to demand their respect because like everyone is not going to give you respect just because of maybe the color of your skin or how you look. You might be a beautiful young woman at that. It's a lot of factors to go into it, and we don't often get treated fairly in those spaces, or we're considered the underdogs, or we're not looked at as a equal person with many talents and creativity that could get the job done. We could get the job done just as much as the next person can, or just as much as that person can, you know? And often we are misunderstood, and if we're considered being misunderstood, we're considered being rather difficult. And I hate the term difficult. It's not even being difficult, it's wanting fairness and to be treated and paid fairly. And to also avoid, being sexually harassed on set, or, not having safe spaces where you report something, like sexual harassment or anything of that nature, and not be punished for consequences for something that you have the right to do and the right to report. In a lot of spaces, these film sets don't have safe spaces for women. And it's just like you're gonna get harassed by somebody or an executive producer. They may say something inappropriate to you, and then you have to be quiet about it because your job may be on the line and may be given to the next girl that's willing to do just about anything to secure that job, which is unfair. And it also creates a toxic, trauma bound workspace. And I'm one of those people that have been through that. When I started out as an actress on set, did I go through sexual harassment? Yes. Was I able to report it? No. Was I in fear of my job or losing it? Yes. So, and that's why I got into TV and film and started creating safe spaces for my actors to be able to act in their fullest of potential and talents and not have to worry about, am I going to go through XYZ? Is this going to happen to me? Am I in a safe space where I could evolve and work in the way that I need to work, especially for female workers in those workspaces as well. They're not always protected. They always go through things, but a lot of times we don't hear about any of the stories, and that's why I got into it. And that's why I think diversity is really important. It just gives everyone equal amount of opportunities. And everyone deserves opportunity. It doesn't matter the color of your skin, your ethnicity, your background. It does not matter. If you have the work ethics, the skills, and the creativity, and the God-given talent you were given, you deserve that equal opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you. I love that. I love that. Thank you for being part of the solution, creating that space for people to feel represented and heard and comfortable. It's very, very important. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Now, what are some of the most interesting or exciting projects you are working on right now?
Yes, so we actually just wrapped on a zombie project called Coke Vaccine, the Prelude. the first time in history that it's being directed by a woman of color. First time in horror history. First time. So we just made history on that. We just wrapped. And the next project is Fiend the Awakening. And diversity at its finest. I'm super excited about this project. We locked in 3 celebrities. We're working on our fourth to fifth celebrity as well. We have one of the makers of Spider-Man on board of the project. We have stunt coordinators, choreographers from Black Panther and Avengers. And I'll also be acting in it as well too. So I'm actually wearing 2 hats for this project, which is going to be super exciting. And it puts a spin on the rock culture. And if you watch Queen of the Dam, which was one of my favorite projects, and to see a woman of color have such a major role, but unfortunately she died at such a early age. We didn't get to really see enough of that, and I'm just bringing that much forward to the limelight more because I feel like that's what we're missing in this film culture, the film industry. We need to see more women of color with leading roles, important roles. Because there was a certain time in history that you wouldn't see anyone of color, especially a woman with a leading role such as this. So now that times have changed and evolved, we have to keep evolving with the times and the changes.
I love it. I love it. I have nothing to say. You just, I love it. I think like one of the reasons why I like Scandal so much was because of Kerry Washington as a Black woman, and she totally like owned that role. I mean, there were times when I wanted to like throw my bowl of popcorn at the TV because I was so mad at her. And she's doing a good job. If I could be this pissed at her. And for a long time, she was just Olivia Pope too. And I'm like, oh, it's Olivia again. I didn't even want to like deal with. So so it's good. I love it. I love it. Yes. All right. Can you tell us which aspect of your work makes you the most proud? And can you share a story about that?
I would say my ability to be able to write all these different stories and dynamics and to be able to turn nothing into something, an idea into art, especially with little to no budget or any budget. I'm able to just do it. And it makes me very proud because at one point I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have experience, any background, anything of any nature. So, and that was just me challenging myself, and then giving new actors an opportunity to be able to create art and give them the spotlight and the limelight, that no one else wanted to give them. I was always that person. I always saw skills and talents in others that weren't really getting the shine that they needed or the opportunity that they deserved. I was always that person to just give it just because like I already saw the talent and skill set that they possessed already. It's just bringing the best of it out on camera and in front of the big screen, just them transforming themselves into the characters I've created, which is art itself.
Yes, yes. We all got to start somewhere. It's like
Mhm.
people want to see your reel and your resumes and this and that, but someone has to give you a chance for you to have a reel. Or like the reel, you could like always meet up with friends and get one together, but you know what I mean. It has to start somewhere. You have to start somewhere. Then you could build like a trail of your work. I love it. Thank you. All right. So here is the main question of our interview. What are the 5 things you wish someone told you when you first started and why?
That's a really good question. I wish someone would have told me was to always brace myself. Nothing is a competition. So stop trying to compete with other people to finish first, or you'll get burnt out. Take breaks when needed. Work smarter, not harder. Because if you work harder, there's nothing wrong with it, but you have to be smarter and adapt with times and the changes. Don't trust everyone with your ideas. Ideas could generally be a gold mine and opportunities for others as well. Let's see another one. Never stop adapting, evolving, and learning new skill sets and talents because you may need it in the long run. And I think the last one would be don't rely on anyone to do anything for you. If it doesn't get done in a short period of time or a certain period of time, you have to do it yourself. You have to be able to wear all hats to get the job done. Because if the job doesn't get done and you're responsible for it, you have to pick up all the slack. So you have to be prepared.
Yes, indeed. All right. Now, when you create a film, which stakeholders have the greatest impact on the artistic and cinematic choices you make? Is it the viewers, the critics, the financiers, or is it your own personal artistic vision? And can you tell us what you mean?
I would say my own personal artistic vision, because it's the directors that have to take what's written in the screenplay and to make it into art and to make it sense visually. Sometimes when you're directing someone else's project that is a writer, it may not translate in a way that they thought that it would, depending on the director's mindset and point of view. It's really the point of view and how it is perceived in a way, because everyone perceives things very differently and the mind works very differently as well. And I would also say financiers to a certain degree, because they are the ones financing the project and they are funding the project. So you kind of have to make them happy as well. But to also make sure that the finished product is a work of art that can be sold, if not licensed.
I love it. Thank you. You are a person of great influence. If you could start a movement that would bring the most amount of good to the most amount of people, what would it be? You never know what idea it can trigger.
It would be to end domestic violence, bullying, and create more resources for the victims and survivors as well. Um, Ways to heal effectively and healthy, after the storm program initiatives, a movement to send them back to school, to college, to earn their degrees, um, an education system, and something for the kids to heal from the traumas, and a way for them to turn their pain into power, I would say, which would make a huge impact and to make a difference, and a program for abusers to learn what they did was wrong and try to do right by it and to try to change themselves for the better and to not repeat the same mistake and to pass that on to the next generation, because abuse is a learned behavior. It's learned and it's also conditioned behavior. You can do this to someone else and can condition that behavior and pass it on to the next person. So I think the movement would be is to end domestic violence altogether.
Mhm. Thank you. Thank you. We are blessed that some of the biggest name in business, VC funding, sport, and entertainment read this column. Is there a person in the world or in the US whom you would love to have a private lunch with or breakfast, and why?
I would say Dion Taylor, because he has been on top of his game when it comes to filmmaking. He's an indie filmmaker that has grossed over $100 million in box office for several films and has done amazing for himself and not being tied to a union or anything. And he didn't wait for anyone to give him an opportunity. He just went ahead and did it. Another two people would be Viola Davis, because she has come a long way to being not only a phenomenal actress, but a woman of color at that, and has been a part of groundbreaking films, making a difference and paving the way for more people to follow. Another person would be Holly Berry, because she has done everything in the storm. She has been acting since I was a kid, and I've always looked up to her since I was little. And to watch her go from acting to directing to producing and, you know, being nominated for these major awards and all these accomplishments in her life. And she still hasn't done everything, which she's done a lot, you know. So it's just really inspiring too, and being where she's from and to come this far, you know, I think it's just super phenomenal. And I could just imagine the difficult times she's had to endure to get to this point in her life.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Well, hopefully they see it and, you get your lunch date or breakfast date.
Hopefully, if I do, I'll let you know.
Sure. Save me dessert or something.
Yeah.
All right. So how can our readers further follow you online?
Yes, so you guys could keep track of everything that we are doing at www.redemptionimages.com, our YouTube channel, Redemption Images, social media, Redemption Images, and Andrea the Creative, which is also on social media and Instagram.
Okay, thank you. Now, Andrea, thank you so much for this interview. Thank you for your time. Thank you for this opportunity. You're very young and you have accomplished so much, especially with the stories you've shared. So you're really an inspiration that we could do anything that we set our minds to. And there's really beauty on the other side of the ashes, or however the saying goes. I tend to butcher them sometimes, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. You're doing such great work. Thank you so much. You're gonna bless. You've already been blessing so many people, and your little daughter have an amazing mom and entrepreneur and just this great person to look up to. So that's amazing. You know how they say beauty and brain, you like beauty, brain, talent, and that. So
Thank
thank you
you.
so much. You're such a light to be around. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Until next time.
All right, till next time.
Bye-bye.